understanding that quote, which is people don't appreciate what they don't ask for. And what it did for me, it helped me structure any type of thoughts towards assisting someone or being helpful in a certain way in which you ask permission first almost. It's almost like people ask permission to be disrespectful, right? They say, hey, oh, no disrespect, but, and then they roll right into something that's generally disrespectful, right? Or I don't intend to be rude, but then they roll on to something that's rude. So it's almost like asking for forgiveness versus asking for permission. You know, people just kind of interject when it's something that could be negative. And I think what we can take from that is, when we're trying to be helpful, maybe lead with, hey, would it be helpful if I? Hey, would you mind if I? You know, and so that really helped me kind of allow myself not to expend too much energy trying to be over helpful when sometimes the help may be needed, but the individual may not desire that type of assistance.
Right.
And so then you got to we help people, and sometimes, you know, the appreciation that we expect to receive in return for the energy we just expended on being helpful, we don't get back. And then it's easy to unintentionally get offended, you know, when the exchange could have been completely different. Right? Because if you would have asked if they needed help and they said, no, I'm good, but then consciously you know they need the help, it's almost like somebody with bad breath, and you smelling it the whole time you're talking to them, you're trying to ignore it because you don't want to lose anybody's ego by saying, hey man, here's a stick of gum. You need to stick of gum, right? So what you try to do is you try to take the gum yourself, and you're like, hey, would you like some gum? And then the person says no. You're like, well, my man,
at least you did it in the form of a question.
You need this gum. You know, right. So then you have to also learn, what I had to learn too was accept and release what people tell you. You know, if somebody says, no, I'm good, hey, they're good. Or no, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. And so I think a lot of times it shines a light for the way that I perceive things as, okay, well, they're good either way. Right. So if I want to be helpful, then I have to do it strictly out of the genuineness and kindness of my heart, versus with the expectation for either it to be reciprocated or for me to feel some type of appreciation in a certain way that person may not be geared towards doing, because in their mind, you're going out of your way to assist. You're taking it on your own accord. And so why do you need me to go out of my way to be so enamored, or taken aback, because you chose to go and do something that happened to be helpful? So thank you, but you know. And so a lot of times it stuck with me. And so now when I communicate, I want to make sure that I'm communicating effectively, and I think about what's the result, what outcome do I want at the end of this decision, at the end of this action. What's the outcome? The outcome is I want the person to appreciate what I'm doing. And now I cannot unknow this. People don't appreciate what they don't ask for, right? And a lot of times in our mind, the psychological aspect to it is, once we ask for something, subconsciously we think now we might need it. We think that we may need assistance in a certain area, so we're going to ask. And so sometimes overjecting or over speaking something that can be very helpful and it should be received as helpful can sometimes be taken offensively to an individual who may not be prepared, or may not think that they need help, or may not be able to come to the terms that that's an area that they need to start cleaning up. And so sometimes we can offer help and it can come off almost as either control or highlighting, you know, a booger in some people's nose. I'll never understand the person that when you say, oh, hey man, you got a little something, you know what I mean? That they're like offended. Like, how dare you? I'm like, hey, I want that friend. Well, look, I want the friend that'll make sure I'm tight.
A couple of things. I think if you're able to see how people respond to things in different situations, if you're able to see that a person feels offense based on something that is actually for their benefit, they've told you a little clue about them. So I end up looking at those situations now, maybe not when I was younger, but now I look at those situations like, oh, thank you.
Right.
thank you for showing me
precisely
that that's who you are.
Yeah.
Without me judging you. I've had a huge problem throughout the vast majority of my life of being judging towards people. And I've come to realize that the main reason that I have such a judging energy at times is because of the fact that I probably feel judged. But that's no one's fault, and I'm not saying anyone is even judging me.
Right.
But for whatever reason, as a part of the way my mind is structured, I'm thinking that everyone is judging at all times. This 10-year-old marathon t-shirt, right? These random tennis shoes with no socks, actually made for tennis. I'm from New York. We don't say tennis shoes. We say sneakers.
Oh, shoot.
But they're actually tennis shoes. They're tennis sneakers. Huh. But you get my point.
I get your point.
St. Louis, they say tennis shoes, probably, right? You know, we say sneakers. But my point is that for so long of my life, I think I judged because I felt judged.
Right.
So you end up doing, if this is something that you feel like you would like someone to do for you, you end up doing, good or bad. So if you feel like people are judging you, you judge people.
That's a great point.
If you feel like people would appreciate this, you want to do it because you think they would appreciate it. And then when they don't reciprocate what it is that you intended, and sometimes selfishly, we're doing it for the appreciation, right? In the same way you did say earlier, you were like, well, you do it because you want to be you want them to be appreciative. Right?
For sure. It's the outcome.
So essentially, we may be doing it for self-serving reasons.
For sure.
I think there's a big difference between selfishness and narcissism and self-serving. I don't think anything is wrong with doing things that are self-serving. Mm-hmm. I think we just have to expend our energy accordingly.
Oh, yeah.
If we decide that we want to expend all of our energy and all of our tank towards getting things from people when we don't even know if that's something that they have to give us. Mm-hmm. Imagine you just went around squeezing oranges, trying to get orange juice, but that if you're actually squeezing apples, right? And squeezing an apple is a lot different than squeezing an orange. And you want orange juice, but you go around squeezing things. Now you're squeezing a banana, and you're like, why aren't you giving me juice? Because you're squeezing a banana. That's why.
For sure.
Bananas don't make juice.
For sure.
So if we can take the time to critique ourselves, mm-hmm. to pull ourselves out of a situation, to really, what word am I looking for? To maybe critique is a good word, but to critique our movements and saying, why am I doing this? Am I doing it because I do want the appreciation? And then the quote that you said, I love. People don't appreciate what they don't ask for. So now, where does this lead us? This leads us into adjusting our communication style and our communication skills. One, if you do have something that you believe could benefit someone, if someone has the knowledge of fitness and nutrition, sure. and you see someone that's overweight, and you say to them, hey, would you like me to help you get in shape? It may not go over that well, right? Mm-hmm. You would like the appreciation of your decade of knowledge on health and nutrition to not go unwasted. And maybe you're even sharing that from the perspective, knowing that you have a decade's worth of studying on health and nutrition, that you know that there is something you can do to serve them, the booger in the nose.
Yep.
Right? But not everyone is open to receive a gift. But we can't give our gift to everyone.
For sure.
In thinking that because we've identified as a gift that they're even ready to unwrap anything, let alone our gift.
For sure.
How many times have we put a gift for someone, they unwrap it, they don't necessarily appreciate it, and then what ends up happening when we give someone a gift and they don't appreciate it? Do we ever want to give them a gift again?
No.
Not at all. So again, I think that all that we can do is identify our patterns, identify our behaviors, identify where we can get better, identify the skills and tools we need so that we can optimize our existence. So in this situation, people don't appreciate what they don't ask for. Okay, tool that I'm going to get, which you just told me that quote earlier today, and I was like, whoa, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great quote. Now, how do I take that, put it into my toolbox, and then what am I going to do moving forward? Got it. What am I going to do moving forward? When I see a situation where I believe my gift can be utilized, all I'm going to do is ask the question prior. That's it.
That's it.
Just say, would it be helpful if? Would you like me to?
That's it.
Would it? And doing that allows them to answer. They've now answered your question of appreciation. You can then now go through. Now,
and you feel appreciated.
Completely. Now, if you do that, you follow through, and they have no gratitude. They don't even say thank you. they're just not a very thankful person. They have no gratitude in them. You know, when you hold the door for someone, hey, you want me to hold the door for you? Yes. You hold the door for them, and then they don't say thank you.
Yeah.
It can happen.
It can happen.
So again, I think we just have to realize where it is that, where do we want to expend our energy? With whom do we want to give it? How do we want to put it out there? How do we want to make sure it's going to the right people, places, and things? And then after that, we have to decide whether or not it's going to continue to be there. Because if you're giving your energy to people, places, and things that don't appreciate it, even after they've said they wanted it, should you keep serving them? Probably not. You should probably stop serving them. But I think it's about identifying and then you saying, I only have so much of my gift to serve. I only have so much of my food. And I asked you if you were hungry. You said yes. I then fed you my food and then you didn't even say thank you. Right? So now I want to go give my food somewhere else.
Right.
So I think once you can get to the point of what I said earlier, not taking things personal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being able to identify that there are some people that just don't have any gratitude in them. And it's a sad place to be. It's a sad place to live. You know, it's a bad neighborhood to be in, metaphorically, right?
It is a bad neighborhood
people
to
that
be
live
in.
there, and who else wants to live around them? Only other people that are
Or like that.
Exactly.
Right.
So, you know, if you're in that neighborhood, move. Go somewhere that they're filled with gratitude and that they understand, you know, those capabilities. So those are the main points I wanted to hit on. Being able to ask on the way in, being able to identify whether or not it makes sense for you to continue to serve your meal to the people, even if they said that they were hungry. And then really identifying whether or not you're focused so much on your destination, or are we getting dopamine hits from appreciation along the way? Right? So the one metaphor I like to use is that if your car, you know exactly where you're going, and if every time you see another car not moving, not broken down, not the hood up, tire off, that obviously needs help. But if every time you see a car that's stopped, you pull over, hey, do you need help? And they're like, no, I'm good. No. Do you need help? Do you need help?
Slowing yourself down.
Correct. That's charity.
Right.
That's charity. I think there's a big difference between service and charity.
For sure.
You ever meet people that work for nonprofits sometimes, or charity workers?
Yeah.
Hey, how can I help you? I'm like, I'm good. I was just saying hello.
Yeah.
But what do you need?
Yeah.
I didn't need anything. I was just saying hello, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes you do go to a church and they'll have that emotion to you, like, brother, where are you right now? I know you're broken. How can I help fix you? And whoa! Like, I just came to get a little bit of nutrition for my soul.
You know what I mean?
And you're looking at me like I'm 300 pounds overweight.
Right.
The same might be said. People will go to a gym. You know, if you went to a gym and the first person on the way is like, "Oh, how can I help you get more fit?" You look at them like, "Whoa!" Like,
I thought I was doing all right.
Was that right? So again, I think there's a metaphor in there somewhere to say, you know, where can we identify times in our lives where we're not focused on where we're going and we are getting many dopamine hits along the way, and we just keep slowing down. Do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need help? When we really should be looking ahead and be like, wait a second, I'm not where I want to be.
I don't have time to help.
I don't have time for that.
You know, and I think you said something that jogged a thought about giving is a gift. It can be, you know, giving is a gift. And the give may be the gift to the other person, but the reception of the fulfillment and the joy that you receive
feels good too.
It feels good, right? And a lot of times we're in a world in which we desire to feel good. And some people have an untamed desire to feel good. And that will sometimes put you in bad places, right? Doing bad things, right? Overindulging in things that make you feel good in a moment, but you keep on going too long. Now you potentially can feel bad later on. So we're in a world in which we need to feel better, and we need to maximize as many micro moments to absorb that feeling of joy and fulfillment, to help our day go a little bit smoother and keep our head up a little higher. And sometimes you can maybe have not so good of a day, right? You may have started off a little stormy, may have started off a little rocky, may have got some tough news, may have absorbed some negative energy that you're trying to shake. And then immediately maybe you feel compelled to give $20 in your wallet, cash, to someone on the street or something like that, or someone who is homeless or someone who's asking for it, right? Boom, and you just go out of your way. They didn't come pester you. They didn't come, hey, please, please, please. None of that, right? To where you feel like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like burdened to give. Now that's different.
Yep. Yep.
If somebody makes you feel burdened to give,
Yep.
then you don't really feel joyful or fulfilled. You kind of feel used. And then you kind of get on yourself like, why am I allowing this person to use me? Then you go down a long spiral, right? But when you go out and take it across your own energy, your own effort, you're compelled, you're inspired, you take it on your own accord to go and to give. In that moment that you're giving, you're receiving as well.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
And so, I mean, giving assistance is definitely a personal reward at the same time. However, it just has to make sure that, you know, those simple things that you said about asking those easy questions up front can lay the land to make sure that it's received and it's garnered in a way in which both parties walk away happy. You know,
And-
nobody feels away, you know.
It's even interesting, and when you were saying that, it made me think of like the old adage where, you know, you'll have someone that's, let's say, you know, asking for money or begging for money, right? Someone on the street. And there's been a couple, and you might see videos or different things, and someone will say, hey, well, you know what? I don't have any cash on me, but would it be helpful if I gave you this food? And sometimes they'll say no.
Right.
Sometimes they'll say no, and you're like, well, oh, okay. Well, you, in fact, you only wanted this. I had this to give you. You didn't want that, so I'm not even going to give you that. No problem.
No problem.
So I love this idea of the question, because now if we can identify like, oh, okay, like you asked for this.
Right.
That's something that I don't have to give you, or I'm choosing not to give you. There's nothing wrong with that as well. I'm choosing not to give you that. Now, if we're going to do that, I can say, would it be helpful if I gave you this meal that I have? And if they say no, no problem, you can move along. So that's number one. I love this new idea of just taking a second to just ask very briefly, like, would it be helpful if, right? Where even as you were saying, like when you get that feeling and you're like, hey, I'm going to, you know, tip $20 or you're going to give somebody $20 of just saying like, hey, you know, my man, looks like you know, or maybe just not. Hey, listen, you know, I know you didn't come over or ask, but you know, would it be helpful if I gave you $20 for lunch? And let them answer.
Right.
Because you never know, that person who could be having a hard time, could be struggling, could be at a certain place. They might look at you and they might take it in a way of you sympathizing or you looking down on them or you looking at them in a certain way, and they might take the blessing that you're trying to give them and make, right? You see what I'm saying? So I love this idea.
They're not ready to receive.
Yeah. I love this idea of asking the question first. Number two, is then the basis you'll hear people talk about till they're blue in the face, which is the idea of gratitude. And then people want to look at it from the universe perspective too. It's like when the universe gives you something, right? Like the universe gives you gifts. When the universe, how many of us waited too long to unwrap our gifts or are not utilizing our gifts to their capacity, right? Imagine, you know, your grandmother growing up, grandpa, your grandpa, you know, Uncle Bernard, right? Like he gives you a bicycle.
Uncle Bernard, yeah.
Uncle Bernard gives you a bicycle, and you were grateful. You're grateful, but you decided that bicycle was going to stay in your bedroom, and you were going to hang your hats on it. It was going to be a hat rack.
Right.
You're now using a bicycle as a hat rack. Could it be used as a hat rack? It could be used as a hat rack.
You can rack your hat on it all day.
You can put your hats on it. You can put your laundry on it. It can be a chair while you watch TV.
Right.
But my point is that how many of us have unwrapped our gifts, have identified our gifts, are appreciative of our gifts, but are not using our gifts the way they're intended? That's, you see what I'm saying? How many of you have a bicycle that you're using as a hat rack? Instead, because of the fear of learning how to ride a bicycle. Now, of course, I'm oversimplifying it, right? 99% of the people watching this can ride a bicycle. I can ride a bicycle. Can you ride a bicycle?
Right, for sure.
We can ride bicycles.
Yeah.
Right. So, but imagine if it was something a little more complicated.
Yep.
Right. Imagine it was an instrument. right?
Oh yeah.
Imagine it was an instrument and it was a fucking accordion, and it's got the keys and it's got the buttons and it's like it's air, it's all this crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of time that you would have to invest in that gift, there are many of us, and I'm probably guilty of this as well, of not investing that time necessary to be able to utilize that gift to the best of its ability. It's the bicycle used as a hat rack. It's the accordion used as a doorstop, right? So, are we appreciative of what God and what the universe has given us? Do we identify it to a certain point, and then do we get to work on our gift so that way we can utilize that gift to be able to take that bicycle? There are people that can take a bicycle and can ride across the country, right? There are people that can take a bicycle and do backflips on it. There are people that can take a bicycle and go through mountains, right? Because what they've done is they've taken that gift and they've maximized it to the capacity that they want to use in their own personal lives.
Yep.
I think there's a big lesson there, within asking, within gratitude, and when we do take the time to just ask that question and say, hey, is this something that would be helpful? And being able to provide it, just being very careful into who we give our gifts to, because I think the more that we can focus our light, right? I mean, what's more powerful? We're out here in the sun, what's more powerful, a flashlight out here or a laser? You would still see a laser
for sure.
Then if we did a flashlight right into here, you wouldn't even see the flashlight much, but you'd still see the laser because it's condensed light. So I think that there's a huge lesson in there as well.
No, I do too. I think that's huge. And that led me to another talk track. Talking about gifts and just thinking about like a bicycle. Do we have gifts that we're not utilizing because we're...
Can I make a suggestion?
What's that?
Starting the story earlier, redoing that one with the quote. Because you know how it's like the punch in the beginning?
Yeah.
If you start, people don't appreciate what they don't ask for.
Right.
Then why? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like starting off with the hook.
Yeah.
Trying that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, like right now, and I could do the same myself, but like, are you using a bike as a hat rack?
Right.
So I think we can get a bunch of these things out of here. Then I think what we can use for the notepad to say to ourselves, what did we get from here to then make more reels later of what we spoke about? Right. I think this is a great opportunity for us to do that.
Yeah, but I'll flow on this thought because we still need the freeform video.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah.
So we still need the freeform flow, which is what we can do. But that made me think about something powerful about just leveraging a gift that's underutilized. And I think a lot of times what we can relate to the bicycles, even if we're not talking about riding a bike, we can talk about leveraging a gift that's underutilized. Where are we underutilizing our gifts? And led me to something else that I heard recently, which was where everybody's blessed with gifts. Now, once you have your gift, it's up to you to develop it and advance it and to learn how to use it and to leverage it the best of your ability. We talk about that all the time, kind of like the X-Men. When you have this young, I don't know if people watch the X-Men, we have this young X-Men, this mutant, whatever they are, they have this power. Now, in their youth, they use it haphazardly, right? They might blow the house up, right? So then they have to go to school. But they're going to school specifically to learn themselves on exactly how to utilize what they are. Somebody over here is wielding water. Somebody over there is wielding fire. But you ain't in the class learning how to wield water. We live in a society where they take all the kids and they put them in the same classroom, right? Now you have these firebenders, you have these water people, you have people that can do different things. And so you have these different gifts and skills and abilities that we all naturally have. And if we look at it like a plant or a tree, right? Once we're the plant, we are. And the plant has the opportunity to grow and evolve and express itself uniquely from other plant tree species, right? This tree is purple. Then you got palm trees. You got all these different type of things that are going to bear different fruit. They're going to offer a different service into the community. They're going to offer different value to the marketplace. That gift, what you are and the fruit in which you bear by being that plant that you are. A pineapple tree can't make apples. That ain't the way it was built. Pineapple tree makes pineapples for those who need the nourishment from pineapples. The apple tree makes apples for those who need the nourishment from apples. But if those who need nourishment from apples and pineapples can't get it from the tree because the tree's too busy trying to be something else, right? And I think a lot of times we feel an abandonment from our natural, authentic spirit when we're not producing pineapples because everybody in the world was only shown how to be an orange tree. And so we all went to school to learn how to produce oranges, right? To go be an employee and to work and learn how to sit for 8 hours and just stay focused. If that's not how we're wired or governed, if you don't evolve appropriately, you're going to feel like you're outside of your box. And so it's a lot of different, it made me think about advanced, pro level, and master level. And I'm thinking about, you can be someone who maybe is not gifted in a certain area, but you're willing to put in 1,000 hours. You take somebody else who's gifted in that area, they may already start at advanced. Just walking into the room doing what they do, they may already be at advanced skill level naturally, right? Because that's their environment, that's their realm. But then somebody else willing to put in 1,000 hours more than that individual might reach master level before the individual that started at advanced. And you had a shorter rope to go. But did you spend your time learning how to develop and improve upon your natural gift, right? Or did you spend your time kind of squandering it, spending too much time trying to be everything else, right? And so it just shined a light on, just identifying and looking at our gift in a way of which it has to be developed. Figuring out, but then now develop it. And if you haven't developed it, we can get to 60 years old and like, well, who am I? What am I here to give? What am I gifted at? And then we may look back and be like, oh, dang, I'm still at that advanced level, but I'm at a mastery age. And so I think people let that ego get in the way and they turn, okay, well, we're just going to turn this gift into a hat rack.
That was a perfect way, man. That was, bro. That was fucking money.
That was money?
That was money.
That was